Mischke here, joining the GL world to pitch my new podcast, which now comes out twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. The show features an extraordinary array of exotic circus performers, forgotten Hollywood starlets, reclusive Fortune 500 CEOs, professional taxidermists. Wait a minute, that's a different promo. Where's the promo for GLers? Here it is. Let's try this again. Mischke here, pitching my new podcast. We're out of time? Could I do it again? It's all about that bass, about that bass, about that bass. Mischke's program commencing directly. Fire all of the guns at once. My name's Mischke. Ha! Let's make some of my magic. Smoking good, smoking good, smoking good. Let's do what we need to do to get through. Come on! Yeah! All right, folks, what do you want to do right out of the chute? Right out of the chute. You want to go to the phones right away? What do you feel like doing? Should we check in with a listener right out of the chute? Is that a little early? Whoa, I don't know. Hey, there are no rules. This is the wild, wild west. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but on this here program, there are no rules. We do what we want to do when we want to do it. You say, Mischke, I like the way you get down to it. One phone call isn't going to hurt. Let's just get one out of the way right away, shall we?
Hello.
Is this Tubby?
Mischke!
Hiya, Tubby!
I can't believe it. Last time you called me, I was eating, and guess what I'm doing now? Eating.
Have you and I spoken on the phone together?
Yeah, about a month and a half ago.
Well, hellfire, damnation, and eternal ecclesiastical bigotry. I can't be calling you. I haven't talked to everybody on the list yet.
Well, come on.
Well, think about it. How about someone out there still waiting for their first call, learning I'm talking to someone twice?
Fair enough.
I'm going to let you get back to your meal. What are you having, Tubby? All I know is it's a bunch of food. It's a whole lot of food. That's the one thing I do know. Not sure what you're eating, but it's a crate full, I'll tell you that.
French fries and pickled ketchup.
Tubby, what the hell is wrong with you?
So far, so good.
Well, you're going to drop in the next week. The last time I talked to you, I believe you were having a bucket of lard.
Like you've never eaten lard.
Are you sitting at home watching television right now?
I'm sitting at home listening to the radio.
I remember it well. Those were the days, my friend, I thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We lived the life we choose, we fought we'd never lose. I gotta go, Tubby. Bye-bye now.
Yep.
Hello.
Mischke.
Hi. What am
How the heck are you?
I'm all right. What am I catching you doing?
You are not going to believe it. I am in Norway right now.
You and me both. Pure coincidence, but I'm in a phone booth in Norway. What town?
Bergen.
I'm in Bergen. Which street?
No way.
I am. Which street?
I don't know.
I'm on that street. What corner? Northwest? I'm on your damn shoulders, boy. Look up.
Tommy!
You're in Norway, huh? Let me guess. I'm going to tell you what brought you there. You went there as part of a group, and the group was going to meet with a government agency of some sort to see about pollution control efforts involving dust mites.
It's a family vacation.
To Norway? They got nothing. That country has nothing. It's a vast wasteland. Let me tell you something. A friend of mine went there, brought back pictures. You know what the pictures look like? Siberia. Couldn't even see the outline of an image. It was just like a fog, a gray fog.
That's kind of what it's been like today. It's a lot of rain. We're supposed to do a fjord tour tomorrow.
Fjord tour?
There's going to be more rain.
You ever hear Orson Welles say the word fjord?
I have not.
A lot of people haven't.
Fjord. Norway. Findus, Norway. We know a certain fjord in Norway, near where the cod gather in great shoals. There, Stangeland. You don't know what I'm up against, because it's full of things that are only correct because they're grammatical, but they're tough on the ear. You see, this is a very wearying one. It's unpleasant to read, unrewarding. Because Findus, freeze the cod at sea, and then add a crumb crisp coating. That's tough, crumb crisp coating. Because of the way it's written, you need to break it up, because it's not as conversationally written. What? Fjord. We know a certain fjord in Norway, near where the cod gather in great shoals. There, Stangeland. I have no more time. Because Findus, freeze the cod at sea, and then add a crisp coating. That's tough.
What's the best thing that's happened since you arrived in Norway?
Today, my dad had this computer laptop case thing that didn't have a computer laptop in it. It was full of papers of our reservations and all that, and my mom and dad's passports, and he thought he lost it. And we spent the whole day freaking out about it, and then we were able to recover it later on this afternoon.
Isn't it sad that the most enjoyable thing that has happened on the trip is something that could have happened in your home here in Minnesota? Maybe you ought to rethink what life is all about. We tell ourselves travel is great. We tell ourselves it's wondrous to have these experiences all over the world, but the reality is joy is felt inside. Find that joy just being, and you don't have to take these trips.
And it doesn't cost as much money either.
What do you think is going to be the highlight before you get home? Because you have a few more things planned. What do you expect to be the thing that happens that has you saying this was worth putting myself in debt?
I'm looking forward to the train ride from Oslo to Stockholm, I believe, or I don't know where the hell we're going. There's a train ride that's supposed to be really pretty.
No! That's not what's going to be it. You're going to be in some little bar, and you're going to meet somebody, and you're going to have a conversation with them. It's going to be magical. You'll be thinking of it weeks from now. It's the human connection that's going to happen. A human connection that would not have happened back here. That's going to make this trip worthwhile. And I want you to write me later and tell me about it.
That's what I should do. We had a traditional Norwegian dining experience tonight, and beforehand we were in a little pub. And a musician was about to go on stage, and I would have rather stayed there to listen to the live music than go for the dining experience.
Any Norwegians around right now? Any Norwegians around you at all?
Seems like everybody I'm running into is Americans on vacation.
Oh, God. Are they fat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
of course.
Big as houses, all of them. What the hell happened?
Huge.
Yeah, if you can find me a Norwegian.
Someone from the front desk has to be local, right?
Yeah, but they're so sick of talking to Americans at the front desk, whereas somebody just sitting there half drunk, maybe reading a newspaper would be.
I'm trying. Sorry, Tommy. Hang in there. Sir, can I borrow you for just one moment? Are you local?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your name?
Christopher.
Christopher's coming on the phone, Tommy. You ready?
Yeah.
Hi, how can I help you?
You're local?
Yes.
I'm not even picking up an accent. Born and raised there?
Yes, correct.
And what do you do with your life?
I am 21 years old. I currently work as a restaurant and bar supervisor.
Uh-huh.
I have a girlfriend for a few months now.
Did you see her across the room and say, hubba hubba?
Back in 2022, she was the waiter at my work, and then 3 years later, I convinced her to like me back, I think.
It took you 3 years to get her to like you?
Yes, but 3 years ago, I was 18, and she was 21.
I see. You've caught up to her, really, I think, in maturity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or she's regressed.
One or the other.
What would you say the thing is that you're most attracted to? What is it really that draws you in with this one?
The humor that makes me lie on the floor laughing for hours.
Boy, that humor thing sure seems to be a powerful attractant.
Absolutely. It helps that she's the most beautiful person ever, but...
Notice how you didn't say that first and you wanted to.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't either. These Norwegian gals are awfully attractive, I have noticed. I mean, I've seen postcards. You know, I don't get over there as often as I used to, but it's a country full of beautiful women. Yeah.
Well, yeah, before my girlfriend, of course.
Before I go, would you mind singing a Norwegian song?
Bæ, bæ, lille lam, har du noe ull? Ja, ja, kjære barn, jeg er kroppen full. Something like that.
You can't hear something like that and not smile. I have no idea what you said, but I just think it made the world momentarily a better place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful talking to you.
It's been very nice talking to you.
Yeah, I wish you all the best. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye.
Tommy.
Do you remember the days when that would have cost you about $120?
Thank goodness I paid extra for the international plan on the cell phone. I have to tell you that I worked in radio for 20 years myself, and you were one of my biggest influences to get into the business. So to talk to you is an honor.
You worked in radio for 20 years? Where?
Started in around the Winona area, and then ended up moving to Michigan and worked in Detroit for a while, and then on the west side of Michigan in the Grand Rapids area for a while.
And when you got out, why did you get out?
COVID killed the business. Opportunities to interact with listeners was gone. There were no concerts anymore, which was our time to get out and about and have those experiences with listeners. And just a bunch of people got laid off, and it was time to say I had a good run and let's go with a new adventure.
Yeah, I understand. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. It's been swell visiting with you. Thanks for bearing with me and being such a good sport.
My pleasure, Tommy. And again, you're a massive influence. I love your attitude. I love everything you bring to it, and I very much enjoy the podcast.
Thank you so very kindly. Safe travels to you.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. You're walking down the street, you're minding your own business, you're eating a weird vegan kale wrap, saying to yourself, wait a minute, I ordered a BLT, what the hell's this? All of a sudden, bam, some guy on a pogo stick smashes into you. I mean, he takes you out. Who even owns a pogo stick anymore? This guy named Ted does, Ted Flavwapper. That's when Bradshaw and Bryant swoop in like a bunch of legal ninjas, like they came through an invisible wormhole in the space-time continuum. They don't mess around, Bradshaw and Bryant. They just came from helping another guy who was hit by a runaway llama in a circus outfit. Look, I'm not exaggerating. Bradshaw and Bryant will take your case, hold it lovingly, like it's the last slice of pizza in the box, and they'll make sure you get every penny you deserve. So if you fall into a manhole, or you get taken out by a runaway shopping cart with a Briggs & Stratton engine, and a drunk guy at the wheel saying, I drive shopping carts, my name is Ted Flavwapper, contact Bradshaw and Bryant. Learn more at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
There's a lot of noise out there coming from other plumbing and heating companies. They're all shouting, a lot of new names, a lot of new promises. But what do you really need from a plumbing and heating company? I think something more than a name and a take my word for it pitch. You should be looking for legacy, something grand. Since 1918, Minneapolis-St. Paul Plumbing, Heating, and Air has been serving the community. Believe me, if these guys were second-rate, somewhere in there, word would have gotten out. And they're not just about furnaces. They're also experts in boilers, a skill many of the other companies don't have. And when it comes to the work they do, they stand by it, so much so that they offer a 10-year transferable warranty. That's right, if you sell your house in less than 10 years, the new owner gets to enjoy that warranty. No one else does that. No one. Minneapolis St. Paul Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They're not just the best in the business. They're the best for a reason.
Oh, it's John.
Not John, it's Deacon John.
Deacon John, yes it is.
Deacon John, you know who this is?
Help me out. Mitch!
Yeah, you got it.
Crazy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and you, sir?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Today's a cleaning day. We got a big party coming up and doing chores and cleaning. And
Life doesn't get any better than that. Ho, 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 ho. Let me just give you 3 numbers, okay?
Right.
409.
Okay.
409.
This isn't that Medicare test, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
It's just a cleaning day recommendation. 409.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. All purpose. So why are you Deacon John?
I'm a Catholic.
I'm a Catholic, but the deacon thing has never been added to my name.
Well, you have to go through about 5 years of formation and
Formation? You got to march for 5 freaking years?
got to make sure that you're well formed and disposed to being a deacon.
We got 5 years to figure out your form and your disposition.
A lot of people enter formation and then they figure out that it's not right for them, that they are not really being called to be a deacon, and they drop out of class. And
I think of deacons this way, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I could be way off. But when I was a kid, there was this phenomenon known as neighborhood assistance officers. And they'd be coming down the block, and me and the fellas would scatter, because we were certainly doing something illegal. And the squad car'd come down, and then we'd see, oh, God, NAO on the door, Neighborhood Assistance Officer. Relax, fellas. It's the guy who wanted to be a cop and wasn't allowed to be. Now, I'm just thinking maybe you wanted to be a priest, and they said, how about a deacon, John? A deacon, that'd be good for you. Sort of like Chevy Chase recommending a pond to Bill Murray instead of a pool.
that's a decent analogy, but the way that our Almighty God works, he calls some people to become priests, and he calls some people to become deacons. And
what if he had called you to be an altar boy? Would you have been willing?
Yeah,
You'd do it?
I would.
What has been the most rewarding day of your life as a deacon? What was the day where you said to yourself after, boy, that's the reason I became a deacon? Right there.
I think the most fulfilling moment was infant that I baptized.
They let you baptize kids?
Yep. We can witness weddings. We can do baptisms.
You ever been baptizing a kid and you get distracted and you hear the parents say, aren't you holding them underwater a little long there?
That's why we're in formation for 4.5 years. We get trained not to do that.
And why you learned CPR. Well, I'm glad I got a chance to visit with you, Deacon John.
You know, in my line of work, you take every single phone call because you never know who's calling.
Yeah, and are you called on sometimes in the middle of the night?
Yep.
And what do they say? Something like, Deacon John, sorry to bother you, but I think my kid needs to be baptized now. Or do they say something like, I know you can't do the sacrament of the sick, but you know CPR from your baptism training, don't you? My husband needs something, and I'm not kissing him.
Calls in the evening are usually somebody that's seriously ill, and they want somebody there to pray with them and be with their loved ones when they're dying. So.
Can I ask you a serious question? Someone calls you. Someone needs prayers desperately. You show up, and you begin to pray, okay?
Yep.
What do you think is happening? What is the force at work? You're praying and...
You are praying that the person that is near death is, their heart is disposed for forgiveness, that they have a belief in the afterlife and that belief in that Jesus is God and that he is coming to save them, bring them to eternal life. You're praying for the family members and the grief that they're going through.
I know what you're praying for. I'm saying, give me a sense of the mechanics of the whole thing. So you pray, and then what happens next? What actually occurs because of your prayer?
Well, that's impossible to know.
If you have no idea at all, it's odd that you're even praying.
Well, no, because we have faith that God hears our prayers, and whatever we ask of him, he hears. So it's, the words that we speak are effective. And,
effective meaning that if you didn't say them, he'd be less inclined to help out this person.
No. That's a good question, Mischke.
Tell you what I think's happening.
What do you think's happening?
I think the part of God that is in all of us is reaching out toward this soul, and that the very love within that prayer is having an effect we cannot see, but an effect that not only is there right then at that moment, but in every one of our loving thoughts any time during the day, that there is power simply in the expression of love.
Well, that's a good way of putting it.
Regardless, I like talking about these things, so anytime I find a deacon, and there are a dime a dozen out there, let me tell you, if I had a nickel for every time I was at a bar and some guy's being booted out, I say, "You a deacon?" "Yeah, I'm a deacon." So anyway, John, thank you for visiting with me.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
You too, John. Bye-bye. Well, what do we do now? I tell you what we do now. We take a quick break, and then we come back. Boom, laka, 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 boom, laka, laka, laka. Big, big break. Big, big break. Mischke takes a break. Ha, 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 ha. Let me tell you about Frank. Frank, bless his heart, was a creature of habit. Every day, the same car, the same traffic, the same frustrated sigh as he pulled into the same damn parking spot. He was a good man, Frank, but a bit, how shall we say it, stuck. Then one Saturday, Frank drove his car to EcoFun Motorsports. He was going to go to Burnsville, but he ended up going to Forest Lake, and he drove away with an e-bike. With an e-bike, because EcoFun Motorsports is having that e-bike sale. Now Frank is not a man of routine anymore. He's a man of revelation. Revelation! His morning commute isn't a race against time. It's a victory lap against gridlock. He rides with the sun on his face and a smirk that says, "I know something you don't." He's not just a guy on a bike. He's the hero of his own story, a two-wheeled liberator gliding past the very thing that used to hold him back. Frank didn't just buy an e-bike at EcoFun Motorsports. He bought freedom. His story is the story of everyone who discovers EcoFun Motorsports e-bike sale. Find your freedom in Burnsville or Forest Lake. Sometimes I think about American Pressure, and I think, who are their customers? I mean, who are these people getting these pressure washers, these new pressure washers? D&V Professional Cleaning Services, there's one of their customers. They started off just with one cold water electric pressure washer unit. They just wanted one. They said, "We don't know you guys. We want to see what you're all about." Well, that was then. They have purchased 19 more, and not just for use in Minnesota, use nationwide. They love American Pressure. So many different businesses rely on industrial pressure washers, not just brand new ones, but getting the ones they have repaired. Manders Diesel. They came to American Pressure complaining that they were spending too much time cleaning their diesel trucks. American Pressure showed them how to upgrade their pressure washers, speed up their cleaning times, improve their business operations, and Manders Diesel has never been happier. American Pressure. Sales, service, parts and pretty cool outcomes. Did you people hear about this? What I'm about to tell you? Before I go on, answer the question. All right. Well, this is about a young guy here. When Brent Chapman was 13 years old, he took some ibuprofen. Have you ever done that? I've done that. Everybody done that? Taken some ibuprofen? Okay. Well, he had taken it before, no problems. This particular time, well, what happened was quite unusual. He had a severe reaction to the ibuprofen. It caused burns all over his body. All over his body. Including on the surface of his eyeballs. What? He was in a coma for a month from ibuprofen. He lost his left eye. He lost most of the vision in his right eye. His body eventually recovered, but his vision never did fully recover. For the last 20 years, Brent Chapman has been going through surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery, 50 of them, trying to save the one eye that survived this taking of ibuprofen. Cornea transplant after cornea transplant. It would last a few months, last a year. They'd have to do it again. His eye never really healed. They kept doing surgery, battling, trying to give him some vision. Then Dr. Greg Maloney, Clinical Associate Professor of Corneal Surgery at the University of British Columbia, was able to restore Chapman's sight with a rare procedure that involved implanting Chapman's own tooth into his eye. Implanting Chapman's own tooth right into the eye. The procedure, known as, and I am not joking, tooth in eye, that's tooth in eye, involves removing a patient's tooth, sewing a piece of it into his cheek, and then placing the structure into the eye. It's considered, ready, a last resort. I bet that is a last resort. I wonder what the resort is just before that last one. Was there a thought just before trying the tooth in the eye that maybe, I don't know, hacking the guy's toes off and gluing them to his retina might work? What were the resorts just before just before last resort? Was there discussion of having him gargle with gasoline? What's the last resort just before you sew a tooth into the cheek and then put the whole thing into his eye in the hopes that a tooth and part of a cheek in the eye will produce, I don't know, a miracle? Would I have been allowed into the medical discussion if I had said, I have a sneaking suspicion that tying the guy's arms back and allowing a bull moose to lick his eyelashes could do the trick? Can we try it? Where do they come up with this stuff? How do they come up with this stuff? The thing is, it worked. It actually worked. Our pal Mr. Chapman can see. His life has been transformed. Let the word go forth, people. What is known as tooth in eye procedure really works. Tooth in eye, my new favorite term. Before this, it was the official term sudden limb drop, which is the real name for when someone dies from a falling branch landing on their head. Yep, the official cause of death is referred to there as sudden limb drop, not to be confused with tooth in eye. The old tooth in eye procedure fascinates me. I would have liked to have been there with our friend Chapman when doctors offered this option, mentioning to him that it was a last resort. Chapman, it's a last resort, but we want to pull a tooth out of your mouth, Sort of like the Nazis did in concentration camps when you think about it. We want to pull a tooth out of your mouth, perfectly good tooth. We just want to pull that out of there. And then we want to sew it into your cheek, something even the Gestapo didn't think of when torturing people. And then after it sits there for a while, we want to dig out that apparatus and just shove it in your eyeball. Call us crazy, but we think it just might work. What do you say, Chapman? Doctor, have you been drinking? Of course I have, Chapman. I'm a surgeon. We couldn't do this job sober. You have any idea of the stress we're under? Show me a surgeon, I'll show you a hooch hound. But that's not the point. Are you up for signing this document giving us the green light to proceed? Well, Doc, I'm just wondering if this procedure is actually real, or if you just want to film it as a gag reel, maybe for your coworkers at the Christmas party. Can you be straight with me on this? This is a real healing approach we want to try. Tooth in eye. We learned about it as kids watching a cartoon. Yeah, back in grade school, a Roadrunner episode. Never thought it would inspire medical researchers, but it has. So are you ready? Will you sign agreeing to this eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth procedure, or eye for a tooth and tooth for an eye procedure, or tooth in the cheek, whole thing in your eye procedure? Or should we just call it we're winging it and getting weird? What do you say? Chapman says today, quote, I'm a very happy man. I'm just taking in the world again, appreciating all the little things. It's been kind of surreal, and there's a real euphoric feeling right now. I'm just so happy. Moving on to the next topic, bank robberies. I was learning recently that bank robberies are way down, way down. When I was a kid growing up, you could count on reading about bank robberies every week. And there were some great bank robbers, too, with interesting disguises and interesting nicknames. People were always robbing banks. In my neighborhood, the banks got robbed routinely. I don't know what happened, but there's a sadness in an end to bank robbing. They say the big reason for it is the payouts aren't what they used to be. Bank robberies just don't yield the money they used to. And what little money people get doesn't go as far. Back in the late 1960s, an average bank robbery netted about $5,000. Now in today's money, that's 46 grand. Average bank robbery, 46 grand in today's money, okay? Today, the average bank robbery brings in 4 grand. So you go from getting 46,000 in today's money to getting 4,000 in today's money. It's just not lucrative anymore. Not the way it was. It makes it just as preferable to go rob that ice cream store over there. A second reason why bank robberies aren't as popular anymore is it's easier to get caught than it used to be. In America today, you're most likely to get caught, out of all the crimes you could commit, you're most likely to get caught committing murder. Now, I don't know if any of you listening have committed murder. I'm hoping to get to my deathbed without committing murder. Why? I think it would feel icky. Here's what I mean. You kill somebody, there they are dead, you realize you caused that, and it feels icky. So I'm hoping to go to my deathbed without that, but were I to murder someone, that would be the crime where I'd be most likely to be caught. Number 2, when it comes to crimes, bank robbery. After murder, it's easiest to get caught robbing a bank. So that also plays into this. They're calling bank robbery a relic of a bygone era. Now, I'm a relic of a bygone era. I love relics of bygone eras. I like antiques. I like old period piece movies. I'm sad when I learn we don't have as many bank robberies because all the great movies I liked growing up had bank robberies in them, and I kind of like that interchange when the teller is there and the bank robber's there, and I like the different ways that goes. I like jumping over the teller's counter. I always wanted to do that, even without robbing a bank. I wanted to come into a bank and one-hand it over the counter. And I also wanted to do this all my life. Run from a bank, get in a car, take off, and have someone chase me. Do you know that in my life there was often no thrill quite as glorious as being chased? My friends used to chase me. I can't remember quite why, but they could never catch me. I was the only one willing to drive through yards. And I mean around a house, into the backyard, then into the alley, because I had a little 67 Volkswagen Bug, so I could treat it sort of like a Chug, a little kid's homemade car. I could go anywhere, like a soapbox derby thing. So I'd drive in the weirdest places. But I always wanted to be chased after a bank robbery because that's its own unique kind of chase. My grandpa and my aunt were working at a bank, and it was robbed, central Minnesota, way, way back during the Depression. And they took them outside and made them stand on the running board of the old jalopy they were driving. One on the passenger side running board, one on the driver's side running board, so that as these robbers tore out of town with the cops chasing them, the cops wouldn't shoot because they didn't want to hit my grandpa and my aunt. And then, with my grandpa and my aunt on the running board, as these thugs tore out of town, the thugs dumped tacks out the window, jars and jars of tacks, hoping to give the squad cars chasing them flat tires. It was real old school stuff. But let's face it, it was exciting. And I would talk to my aunt in later years, and she did not seem all that traumatized. I think secretly, it was fun. Yeah, it was a little scary. Of course it was scary. They had guns. But still, man, to know that while you're going down the road and the cops are chasing you, somewhere Bonnie and Clyde are also doing the same thing. It was the same era. And Dillinger's doing it somewhere else, and you don't know why you got stuck with the C team here, not even the B team. Who are these bozos? A couple of yahoos. It would have been more fun to have one of the big shots, Machine Gun Kelly, Pretty Boy Floyd, something like that. I think they ended up with Herman and Rudolph. A couple of central Minnesota German guys didn't know what they were doing. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Hollywood still likes bank robbing as a crime in movies. They still like to play with that theme. They're not giving it up that easily. It's just so neat and clean. There's a place where everyone brings their money. The bank. Just saying that is kind of funny to me, actually. The day we first let the word go forth that we were creating a building where everyone was going to bring their money, that must have been a funny day for robbers. Paul, did you hear that? What's that, Donnie? They're announcing the creation of a building they're going to call a bank where everyone's going to bring their hard-earned cash. They're all going to store it there, and they're telling everyone about it. Yeah, they're actually announcing it. They're calling it a bank, and they're even going to put up a sign out front that says bank so that everyone knows which building has all the money. Well, it seems like that would be the place to rob then, Donnie. Why would we even think about looking elsewhere? I agree, Paul. The sign ought to read, right here. Here's the place to rob. You want to go there today, Paul? Yeah, Donnie, let's go take all that money. That's a great idea. I'll get the car. Okay, and I'll call the ice cream shop and let them know they've never been safer, and that they'll remain safe and secure till maybe 2025, when suddenly our eyes will once again turn their way. I was researching this whole bank robbing thing today. In 1995, a fella named MacArthur Wheeler robbed 2 banks with lemon juice all over him. He believed it would make him invisible to security cameras, like invisible ink. He even smiled into the camera because he thought he couldn't be seen. Well, MacArthur Wheeler was caught within a couple of hours. Yeah, this guy said he had the perfect getaway tactic. He had smeared lemon juice all over himself, convinced it would render him invisible to security cameras. His reasoning came from the fact that lemon juice can be used as invisible ink. only becoming visible when exposed to heat. He mistakenly assumed the same principle applied to surveillance footage. When police reviewed the tapes, Wheeler was easily identifiable. As I said, he looked directly into the camera. He smiled. He was so confident in his invisibility, and within hours, he was incarcerated. He was shocked, by the way, at being caught. The cops said when he was arrested, he said out loud, "But I wore the juice. I wore the juice." The case caught the attention of psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger. They were fascinated not just by Wheeler's flawed logic, but by his absolute confidence in it. And this became the foundation for their groundbreaking research into cognitive bias. They published their study on what is now called the Dunning-Kruger effect, a psychological phenomenon where people with limited knowledge or skill greatly overestimate their competence. Wheeler's lemon juice blunder has since become a textbook example of this Dunning-Kruger effect. His case underscores a universal human flaw. The less we know, the more likely we are to overestimate our abilities. I wonder where MacArthur Wheeler is today. I actually, and I'm serious here, I actually felt bad for him when I thought about his arrest. I just felt bad for him. It had to be embarrassing. Mr. Wheeler, you're under arrest. What? Mr. Wheeler, you were entirely visible. Everyone could see you. Everyone. What? Yeah, lemon juice does not make you invisible. We all saw what you did. Can you see me now? Yeah, you're right there, Mr. Wheeler. What? Are you sure you're seeing me? Yeah, we're sure we're seeing you. How many fingers am I holding up? 4. How do you know that? I'm telling you, Mr. Wheeler, we can see you. You are not invisible. That's why you are here in a holding cell, waiting for transfer to the courthouse. I don't know how any of this is possible. Mr. Wheeler, who told you lemon juice made you invisible? Conrad did. Isn't Conrad the fellow whose wife left him for you? Yeah, but what does that have to do with anything? Well, we know Conrad was very hurt when his wife left him for you. He might have been trying to get even. What else did Conrad tell you? He told me I should routinely fish out the dry breadcrumbs from my toaster with a butter knife so that the toaster doesn't catch fire. And did you do that? Just the one time. I don't have any memory of what happened. I woke up out of a coma 11 months later. Conrad said that's a one-time thing, though, and I shouldn't let it stop me from trying it a second time. Of course, instead of worrying about my toaster starting the house on fire, I just decided to do the lemon juice trick, rob a bank, and then buy a new house with all the money. Where is Conrad now? Well, he's got a message on my voicemail saying he's with my wife, and they're going on a trip together to Costa Rica. Doesn't seem right. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. When he got to prison, you think he got razzed much by the other fellas? How many times in the cafeteria at lunchtime in that prison did someone squirt a little lemon juice on him, do you think? Every day? Every other day? How often? Often, I think. Real often. Look, I know you're busy. You've got 401ks, IRAs, mutual funds. It's a whole lot of adulting needing to be done there, huh? Adulting, I call it. It's about as much fun, though, as a tax audit. But, what if your retirement wasn't a spreadsheet of sorrow? What if it was, I don't know, A yacht, a fancy yacht, the kind with a helipad and a personal chef who only makes really great tacos. For over 40 years, Josh Arnold has been the guy who turns those dreams into a real plan. He's not a guru. He's a professional who's seen it all and has helped thousands of people get to that next chapter of their lives, retirement, without a single spreadsheet tear. He's so confident he can help you, he's given you 48 minutes of his time for free. That's enough time to figure out if your future involves a yacht or a really nice kayak. Stop stressing. Pick up the phone, call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608. Tell him you want a taco yacht.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. Tommy Mischke is a paid endorser.
You're watching the woman you've always known as a pillar of strength start to fade. The one who taught you to tie your shoes. The one who would catch a perfect spiral when you learned how to throw a perfect spiral. The one whose hand you held countless times. Now you're faced with a decision to find a place where she can be cared for. But you don't just want a place, you want a home. At the Welshire, they understand this. They've built their centers in Medina and Bloomington not to be clinical institutions, but to be vibrant communities. They're not focused on what your loved one has forgotten. They're focused on what they still have, their dignity, their life, their story, their capacity for joy. This is a new chapter, not an ending. At the Welshire, they're experts in memory care. But they never forget that they're also caring for a mother, a father, a spouse, a friend, a grandparent. At the Welshire, they never forget that's a person, and that perspective changes everything. Visit the Welshire of Medina or Bloomington. Well, it's late September and everybody's getting back to school, huh? A lot of back-to-school news out there. Always depresses me a little bit. Triggers me, I guess you would say. I flash back to childhood when I'd see back-to-school headlines. Hey, back to school, kids. And I'd get down because it meant I was waking from my summer dream, my summer reverie. Yes, it wasn't so much the season itself that I needed back then. It was the freedom of summer. They would come to take that away from me, and I would be alerted in the form of back-to-school headlines. Back to school. Oh, God, no. Encountering the back-to-school stuff in the media was like having someone walk in on you while you're watching some lovely summer movie in a dark theater. I'm in the middle of a beautiful summer film, lost in my head in a dark theater. All the bright white lights go on and someone yells, "Everybody out! We need help tarring this parking lot out back." What? Yeah, summer's over, pal. Well, wait a minute. Oh, Tommy boy, the school bells are a-calling. The classroom longs to imprison you, my friend. The summer's gone, all the leaves are dying. It's you who must go back to school again. Back to school again? But I'm out here barefoot chasing snakes. Not anymore, Tommy boy. Get your shoes on and put on a nice clean shirt. Your life is about to be blocked off into 50-minute segments, and you'll be moved, like cattle, from four-wall corral to four-wall corral. Called classrooms, mind you, but they're corrals, and there, as cattle, you will do what we tell you to do, learn what we want you to learn, day in and day out, week after week. You remember school, don't you, Tommy? Oh, Tommy boy, you were not made for schooling. You were made for skipping rocks on a lake. But there are textbooks and teachers who now will haunt you. There are classes and so many tests to take. You'll get up early and you'll wear a formal uniform. You'll walk to school depressed as you can be. Sit at a desk from 8:30 in the morning until you're released from your corral somewhere around 3. But there'll be football waiting when you get home, and in the street the boys will gather round, and you'll pick teams, and for a couple hours forget that school has once again come around. Then one afternoon you'll see the leaves a-changin', and you will see, Tommy, that you're a-changin' too, that you cannot stay a little kid forever. There's so many things they'll say that you must do. Like grow up and get a job and save your money. Get a house and pay every single bill. You best enjoy your pals and tossing footballs. Too soon you'll feel that bitter winter chill. And so childhood ended. It was over. That's no small thing to get taken away from you. And it takes you a while to realize what's lost.